Welcome to our Breakthrough Boundaries podcast. We have officially named the podcast and we are branding it. We're coming in hard with logos and Spotify and all the things. It's crazy, like trying to build these things. It's very incremental. You do one little thing at a time and it continues to build. So we are officially here on our podcast. We want to bring it to you live each time that we have our podcast, which is every other week, surrounding our wealth building masterminds, building wealth masterminds, that we have a monthly meetup on the second Tuesday of every month. And with that being said, we have a guest with us today. Her name is Karen Carafee, and Karen is an amazing business owner in our community. She was at our last wealth building mastermind, and so she gets to be a guest on our show. So we're going to jump right in. I'm Lindsay Semper. I am one of your co-hosts, and this is Austin Spitzenberger, Austin Spitz. We'll do a super quick intro for our podcast, and thank you guys for tuning in today.
Sure. Super excited to be here. So I'm Austin Spitzenberger. We own and manage vacation rentals throughout the Texas Hill Country. And then to your point, yeah, like you were saying, we're still getting everything rolling. And I think the thing that was kind of pushing the needle forward was like, a lot of people are seeing our clips and they're like, hey, where can I watch this? Where can I watch this? And we're like, we don't have it uploaded yet.
Yeah.
But we got it going. Like maybe I think next week we'll start uploading so everybody can, stream it and listen to it. But yeah, so let's get into it.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a little bit of ideas of the structure of what we do, twice a month we host a podcast, and we're going to be bringing it to you live going forward. So that way you guys can have lunch with us, log in, interact, make sure that you are asking questions, especially for Karen, who is an amazing business owner and so smart, extremely smart. So if you guys have questions, make sure to put them comments in our live broadcast today. We'll be answering those as you guys are there with us. And then, so we have 2 podcasts a month, and then we have our monthly meetup, second Tuesday of every month. So our next monthly meetup is going to be November the 15th. And we're going to be at a brand new location at one of the places that I am working on helping build wealth in my life into a new business venture. We're going to be at the Weighted Plate, and we'll drop the address in the comments below for you guys. But it's super cool. It's very vibey. It's a speakeasy, and we are going to have all of our upcoming meetings at that central location. We'll have food, drinks, our own area to be able to host the mastermind as well. And that spot is also available for your events too. So let's jump right in. Y'all ready?
Yes. Let's rock.
All right.
Yes.
So let's do a quick introduction to Karen. Karen is, like I said, a local business owner here in town. I'm going to let her talk to you about the businesses that she owns, and then we're gonna drill her with questions.
Awesome.
Today. So go ahead.
Perfect. Karen Carafee. I own Climate Express Heating and Air along with my husband. We're 50-50 partners in that. It's a residential, light commercial HVAC company that we started in 2018. And then I decided to open up my own business on my own for my own personal reasons and for the love of travel. So now I own Wanderlust Travel Jet Setter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I want to highlight about you guys is how quickly your business has grown. Yes. And it wasn't by accident, right? So when people hear Climate Express, so you guys have earned Best of the Best New Braunfels 5 years or 6 years?
Ever since, the first time we can enter it. So we were at least in the top 3.
Right.
Yeah, I think the last 3 years we've been number 1 for the last 3 years, I think so. But yeah, for the last 6 years we have been in the top somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, 3, 2.
I just think it's amazing because we see businesses that are successful right now, right? Mm-hmm. Like in a snapshot right now. And we feel or think that, or we trick our minds into thinking that you guys have been in business forever, right? Like this Climate Express has been around forever. And then you hear it and you're like, wait, you've only been in business for 6 years?
Yeah.
And you made it through COVID, right? In the beginning stages of everything that was going on.
That was crazy. And then we also get a lot of questions of people asking if this was given to us. Yeah. Is this a family-owned? Because we are family-owned and operated, but they always ask, was this generational?
Right. The assumption is that is that wealth is only attained or more easily attained if it is generational
Yes.
and the businesses are handed down.
Definitely.
So I would really love for you to jump into your story, right? Like where did Climate Express come from? Talk to us about just I'm just
Okay.
going to ask you all the questions.
Nope.
So you just
Sounds good.
jump in.
Yeah. So Climate Express came from, technically, I'm gonna be honest, my husband. He has been in this business now. He likes to say since he was 6 or 8 years old, because he got introduced that way when his dad was in the military. One of his neighbors owned his own AC company, who he still talks to this day once in a blue moon. They're still friends and stuff. And then his dad retired. His dad decided to get into the HVAC business, and he was been doing it ever since. He was technically one of John Wayne's first employees ever.
Wow.
Yeah, when they opened up however many years ago after
Right.
selling San Antonio Air or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So he's been in it since he was 16, started as a helper. And then from there, he became an installer, and then he became a service tech, and at one point he was a salesperson, and then became a service manager, and then he decided he wanted to finally go out on his own.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest piece that we were talking about at the last podcast is like when do you know it's time, right? So
Yes.
kind of coupling that with Wanderlust, right? So when did you and Bob know it was time to branch out and start the business? And
So-
and what were the steps involved in
I'm
that?
going to be very honest about this one, because when we first dated, he actually had his own business called Carafee Custom Heating and Air.
Okay.
And I knew nothing about business. I was just coming out of being a Chili's waitress. I just was a Dollar General assistant manager and was working on my associate's degree, and just got that when I met him. And I didn't know anything about business, I'll be quite honest. And he was doing it, and he wasn't doing very well.
Right.
And when he got together with me, we needed to pay bills. So he went back to work for another company, and then he joined the oil field, and he tried to do other little things, but always
wow.
came back to being in the AC business. And I finally got my bachelor's degree, started being a manager at Ulta as operations manager and a truck manager at one point. And I told him, he always talked about opening his business. I said, sweetie, I think you need to get more experience behind you, because being on the manager side of business is not the same as being in a service truck and being someone to know that. Because a lot of the cashiers and register people are always like, oh, I could do that better. But you don't understand management, and you don't
Right.
understand business things behind it, what goes on with it. And to me, when he finally got that job as service manager and was working for the other company and really got to learn the ins and outs behind it, meet vendors and suppliers and things that he had no clue the first time around, that you have to build these relationships with. You have to put all this stuff and energy and time and money, and he just didn't have any clue. And then finally working there for, I think, 2.5 years, he said, I want to open up my own company. And I said, yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I was,
awesome.
and that was, 6 years ago.
Okay. So what do you feel like were some of the biggest struggles initially when you guys stepped out into the world of owning your own business? Like what were the biggest hurdles that you guys had?
So for us, because when you start your own business, there's a lot of capital that you need behind that, money and things. And be honest, we didn't have any. We had $500 in the bank.
Wow.
$500 in the bank when we did this. And he's like, I'm going to open it up. And I was cooking dinner, and he goes, I'm going to open up a credit card. And he did. He goes, I only got $1,500. What's your social security number? And I had my credit line at the
You
time.
get a credit card. You
I,
get a credit
yeah,
card.
and I did, and we did. For my credit was $3,000, because a lot of the suppliers and the vendors only wanted you to pay cash up front. They didn't want to. They wouldn't give us a line of credit. So we opened up those 2 credit cards, and I told him, I said, we're gonna go on social media. We're gonna hit it hard. I found, like I told y'all earlier, the mayor of New Braunfels at the time, and I friended him. I friended business owners. I did everything, and I said, I'm gonna make you look so huge. You're not gonna know what to do with yourself. And so we never were in the red. We always paid our credit cards off every single month. Just, it was nice to have that. You have to have sometimes that cash a little bit in the bank, right? For our security reasons. So if something did mess up, we could just pay the minimum on a credit card if we had to.
Right.
But we never had to. So we were always paying that credit card off every month until we built relationships with suppliers who actually now started giving us a line of credit that we could pay the next month and then go from there.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have my own business. I run it. My wife has a W-2 job. But something I really admire about you guys and talking to you guys is kind of how you guys have done that as kept a happy marriage and also been able to run a business.
Yes.
So like what's the secret to your success there? Do you just, he does certain things, then you do certain things, and it just is like a happy medium, or like roles and responsibilities are divided?
For
Like,
the
what makes it a happy harmony? I mean, obviously there's.
For the most
For
part,
sure,
yes.
sure.
So he's definitely technical, right? He's out in the field. He's the one that can fix things. He's the one that knows how to come into your house and do everything from, fixing stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to fix things, right? I was better in the office, getting with marketing. Marketing is probably my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And I did the office side, building up with QuickBooks and building up the books and doing things like that. But there's times where we do clash a little bit, where I'm like, what is this? What is that? My customer service person comes out and I'm like, you need to do this more, you need to do that. But we don't take personal once we hit that door, we're business people.
partners.
Yeah, I don't try to bring personal. Does it bleed a little bit? Yeah, we're humans. But we try very hard to keep our personal life out of that office.
Right.
Yes,
Stay in the lane.
stay in the lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think for as long as you guys have done it, you've proven the point of concept, because you guys have been in business for a little bit now, and if it wasn't going to work that way, it would have not
long
worked.
time
It would
ago.
have, yeah. So
Yes.
you guys are doing something right. So that's awesome.
And we would have seen that. We would have. But yes, we've seen that a long time ago.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So talk to us then about, right, like you've established your business, you've built your business, but you always had a dream of something else, right? Like you always had a different passion.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that passion.
Well, I'll go back a little bit. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I decided to go back to college at 32 and get my bachelor's degree and my associates first, and then I got my bachelor's degree. And my actual thing was I got retail merchandising management,
Okay.
which I love shopping and buy. I thought about being a buyer, something fun like that, something different, and realized that I have to move to another city, and I still had a family and husband at home, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I liked that type of world that I was in, but then I got a little taste of traveling when I booked my own trip with my kids to New Orleans, and then I booked a trip for us and planned every single detail to New York City. I'm talking like I even made my own calendar, and we had every little thing to do what we were going to do, and that was March 2020 when we went to that one.
Okay.
And then just started building that up a little bit, and I have a love for writing. I have a love for taking pictures, and it was a fun way to kind of intercede all of that. And then I got into it through another person that I know that's in, and asked questions and said, hey, what did you do here? What's this? And is there something I could do? And then, or build, is this even a business, right?
Right.
I didn't even know. I was like, is this even a real business that people can, ask a couple questions, and then just kind of did it at first, and then it exploded because I brought something, I don't know, I hope I brought something different to showing people about the travel things, even if they don't travel with me. I love hearing people say, I love what you're wearing on your travels, or I love what the passion that I could feel behind it. I feel like I'm on step by step with you, and I get to live through that a little bit. Or, you know what, I do little staycations around town, or I do little daycations, I call them that, for people just to go see what's around us and for free. That
Right.
people forget that we could go do something, get out of your house, do something. Don't get stuck in your home. Yeah.
I think that's the first thing I said. What was the first thing I said to you when you walked up this morning?
Oh, my clothes.
I was like, stylish.
She's
I was like,
style. I know.
I don't know anything
She's
about
good.
style, but that's it right
That's
there.
it.
She's got it going on. But no, one thing I was going to ask, because I want to ask Lindsay this, what like the organizational aspect that you have where you can plan a vacation. I think me and Lindsay are very wired the same way. If I was planning a vacation, I would just pick the spot and maybe book the hotel.
Correct.
And it
Yeah.
would be like,
Let's just see what happens.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that how your vacations? Because that's how my vacations typically go.
Yeah.
So that's why the service for you would be like, if she could just do it and just give us an agenda, that would be great. So
Well,
I don't know.
it sounds weird, but there's a lot of little pieces behind it that people don't think about, because there's, depending on what kind of travel you want to do. Even for me, when I did the March 2020 trip for New York City, right? I found things that we could do for free that people didn't even realize was out there. It was like getting the 7-day Metro Pack card for us. That was $30 a person. We rode the subways everywhere. It gave us access to do this cool trolley thing that went right by this bridge that took us to Roosevelt Island. That was free, that my kids thought we did something super cool, but trying to save money in little places like that. I found this place called the High Line. We walked that park. It was just little things, but also on top of doing research of going to Rockefeller Center and paying for those, but at the same time, just that history of what I wanted to see and do.
Right,
So little things behind there, as well as knowing some of the rules and some of the regulations, especially now after COVID, with all the travel stuff. There's a lot behind it that people don't think about, and
Right.
it's not so bad right now because we're finally past a lot of that. But it's also knowing that Italy next year is in their jubilee for the whole year, and trying to get people in and trying to get people more, it's,
Wow, I
yeah,
didn't even know
or
that.
knowing Easter time. When I went to Ireland this year, I forgot it was Easter, and I went during Easter, and I went on their holiday, and why it was more crowded than I anticipated. Well, it was there. Now I know that because now I'm booking a trip for someone else, and I'm not trying to plan it on their Easter holiday. Little things.
How did you know that it was time for you to be able to step into Wanderlust and give it the time and attention that it needs, right? The research, the development, the marketing, all of those things. Because as you know, and we all know, when you first start a business, that's literally all it is. It's just getting your name out there. So there is a lot of time invested into that activity. How did you know that it was time that you could step away from climate on some level?
I got lucky, and I've hired some really great people in the office. So I have 2 dispatchers, so I didn't have to answer the phones anymore. I found someone who helped me with doing the bookkeeping, because that took up so much time. People don't realize how much time it takes to to enter the money into your business, and to do that, and to have that inside person for me was very important. Than hiring someone out. And now I started noticing I had more and more free time. Just kind of was like, okay, I'm kind of starting to not be needed. And then
Right.
I got to the point where I was only doing the marketing piece. Well, now I'm not even doing that hardly, because she's doing such a great job, and be able to give up some of those. We forget that we should be able to give up control. We need to find people that we can empower. And so one of my biggest things with my team is always telling them, I'd rather you make a decision than, sit there or come with me with the answer, not the problem.
Right.
I am big about telling my team, I want you to come with me with an answer, not the problem, because then if it's not the right answer, it's okay. We can figure it out. We'll get through it. But it's empowering your team to make decisions.
And not be robots.
And not just call you for every little detail. I don't need to know that Miss May didn't like something. It's fine. Did you take care of her? Is she happy now? Let's go. So it's empowering your team to make decisions, and to feel like they're part of something bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
So, having gone into the realm of Wanderlust now, what do you feel like is your biggest? I wouldn't even say failure, right? We don't fail. We fail forward.
Yes.
Through the process of you guys getting bigger and scaling bigger and doing the things. And so this could be an answer for climate, or this could be an answer for Wanderlust, whichever is there. But what was a failure that you guys experienced that you said, okay, learned from that, won't do that again, or we'll do this differently this time? What do you feel like is maybe one of the biggest failures that you guys have had or experienced?
For Climate Express, sometimes it's hiring the wrong people.
Okay.
Let me be honest, that's the biggest one. Because all the other little things, it's, you can, programs and things like that, it's easy. You could find a new one and move on. But sometimes when you hire the wrong people, your culture becomes a little different. They're not seeing your vision in the same way that you are. And then it's knowing when to let go. It's knowing it's okay that it's not the right hire, it's not the right fit, and then listening to your team, because they're the ones who have to work with those people. And for us, the hardest part was the management team part of it.
Okay.
Is getting those people that, they don't have to do everything 100% the way that I would do it, because it's never going to happen, right? But it's also knowing your culture, what you've built, what we have built with our team has been very important to us.
It's like 70% done by somebody else is 100% better than doing it yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. But
Or
that's,
maybe 80%.
yeah,
I don't know,
and
but
it's just
yeah.
we've built such a rapport with our people that I still have my first employee working for me.
That's awesome.
And if someone else is not going to understand that we still, yes, we're getting bigger and bigger, but I still want them to know they're my family.
Right.
That's why we also tell people we're family owned and operated. Yes, me and my husband own it. My sister works for me, but I have two brothers that work there that have been working for us. One of them's been now almost 5 years, and his brother works for us. We are family owned and operated because those people are my family. I love them, and when I do have to let certain people go, it's for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's not just because I just felt like it. It was time for them, or we just hired the wrong person.
Right. Right. I honestly feel like that across the board has always been the most difficult part of running a business. It's not really running the business. It's not the business that's the hard part. It's the managing people that's the hard part. And the more that you scale, the more that you bring on, the more people that you're trying to help, the more that employees that you're going to need to make that happen and manage that. So what do you feel like is your secret, right? Like Austin was talking a little bit ago. What are strategies? What are things that you've put in place that make managing people manageable?
Listening to them.
Okay.
We're very open with even how we pay ourselves.
Okay.
Sometimes they see things and they're like, oh, they did this, or they're on another trip, or they bought this, or they did that. It's sitting down and having a conversation. Guess what? My other business pays for that, so stop thinking that we're just, sitting here blowing money.
Right. It's easy for people to see like you off traveling and doing all these
Yes,
things.
but they
like
forgot that I opened up another complete business that
Right.
pays for that 100%.
Right.
But it's having that open conversation.
That is a travel business.
Yeah, it is a travel business, but at the same time, it's also knowing that if our business closed down, we're the ones that are going to be hurt the most. I have to pay the taxes. It's just talking to them. Now, they are open to come to us too, and we've done it many of times where they need money. I help them every time because I can't get that money back if I died tomorrow.
Right.
So if I can able to enrich their lives, one day we went through and we had a big meeting and we gave $5 an hour raises to everyone.
Wow.
Like a lot. It might have been more or less. I don't want to give what, but it was like an Oprah day. You get a raise, you get a raise, you get a raise. But I also try to bring things to help their quality of life. Because if they have something at home that's not right or perfect, you're going to come to work not being happy no matter what you do. So I've also done things in the past. I need to get more into it again, but I've had people come talk to them about credit repair, physical health, insurance, things that are going to benefit them. So we also bring in life insurance policies for them. So I pay for everyone to have a $25,000 life insurance policy if something happened, because I see too many GoFundMes for people, and it makes me sad that this $5 a month policy could really help someone if you just did that. So I decided I wanted to give that to them. We just started doing life and retirement plan for them.
Okay.
So now we put into that. We pay for half their medical now. So the more we grow, the more we give.
Okay.
I'm not just giving myself a raise.
Right.
So I guess my good question is, like, since you guys have grown this business over time and you guys have gotten a lot bigger and a lot more employees, is there anything you do in particular to keeping like company culture and morale high? Or is there things that you want to do long term to keep people happy working there? Like the little things, just kind of building a company culture. Like what is your thoughts on that?
Like we have a meeting coming up next week. We always have a meeting every week on Tuesdays, but we're switching it to Thursday and having a fun Halloween party. Just because we've done it before. We like doing it. We try to do, every person's birthday gets at least a $15 gift card just to say happy birthday, here's a lunch. Our work anniversary, we give them all like a gift card to HEB. I give them a work anniversary present, like something kind of big. The more you work for us, the bigger it gets. They get a Christmas bonus. I give them a gift card for HEB for Thanksgiving. It's just little things to say thank you, or we'll do fun little, what's the other fun little, we'll have a little contest. Who can get more Google reviews and give away? I've even given away a trip last year to one of the guys, and he went on a cruise, and I have another trip that we just gave away, waiting for him to see when he wants to go on his. Right. It's because I want them to see that we're not, yes, we're traveling and doing more things, but at the same time, look, you could do this too if you wanted, or see why we do it, or maybe just enrich their lives for 5 minutes,
Right.
and enjoy it and remember that. But
Right.
I like to go to their baby showers when they have them. I like to be part of
That's
them.
awesome.
We go to their birthday parties if they invite us. Their housewarming party for one of them when he bought a new house, and yeah,
That goes a long way.
it does.
It does. I think that's one of the things I've seen the most too is create traditions, culture, connectedness it's very intentional. Like
Yes.
you have to make a point to do the small things. So it's funny because for me, I grew up with a few traditions, nothing uber significant. But when I started having kids and growing a family, I started seeing and realizing how intricately traditions and celebrations and the little things make such a huge difference. I can go on a tangent on this forever, but in talking with people and networking and seeing people from different cultures, I've met lots of people from South American cultures, and one of the things that I think that and in traveling and meeting people that I love the most about it is other cultures are so ingrained into these smaller or bigger traditions that they have involving their family. When people pass away, I was talking to a gentleman about this week-long celebration that they have when there's a family member that passes away, and they all come together. They're all in this one home, and they have specific things that they do each day to honor that person passing on. And I just thought, wow, like we don't, Americans don't really do anything to really bring home this just like this deep culture. And even though this individual has moved halfway across the world, he still feels so connected to his past, his people, because of these small things. And I have seen that play such a huge factor into my own family, and now having been divorced, coming into a new world. Coming into a new holiday season, which is where most of our traditions are around, there's such stark differences between what was celebrated in his life before and what I do to celebrate now. Even as something as simple and silly as celebrating my dog's birthday. He just thought, like, that is what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why does your dog have a birthday cake? And I'm like, well, why not? But it creates these small little memories and these small connections, and it just creates. We're both members in Elevate Networking Alliance, and I've seen that aspect be completely. We create traditions without even realizing that we create traditions, but it's those pieces, the consistency of them, that continues to help build this culture even bigger, and you do
we
it
have
sometimes
Christmas
without even
parties
realizing it.
every year, and we still have sometimes ex-employees that come to them.
Right.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
We have fun Christmas parties, and I love giving people presents. That's probably my biggest thing. That's probably my love language. I love giving people stuff.
Right.
I love showering people with something. I don't know why. But what you said, I grew up with a lot of traditions in my family, and Bob did not. So for him too, coming into, I'm like, no, we have to celebrate a birthday. We have to celebrate Christmas, Halloween, everything, and he's sometimes, but now he's so used to it that after 14 years, he's, it's become part of his. And even my 19-year-old daughter, who I ingrained these traditions with, told me if she still doesn't get Santa, she's going to tell my grandson there's no Santa.
Blackmail.
Because she loves the traditions so much. She's the crazy one that calls me and says, "What are we doing for July 4th?" And I was like, I was going to sleep and do nothing. Yeah. She's like, no, we have to do fireworks. And we got to go to, and I forget. Not that I forget, but I have gotten so busy in life right now that there's sometimes I just, like that day off from work because we are closed, right? I just kind of want to sleep in and do nothing. But that tradition of giving it, and I'm so blessed that she still loves it. And she still wants to do things with me. And then watching my son now at 29 with his son doing those same traditions with the PJs at Christmas Eve and opening up Santa presents and doing all the things that I had given him, it's probably, and I love doing it with work too.
Yeah. I think that that's like a huge takeaway for me is in looking at scaling businesses and getting bigger and bringing on new employees and bringing new members into our networking group. Even this mastermind, right? Like I started it in January, kind of I was a little discombobulated with figuring out what I wanted it to look like and what I wanted it to grow to be. And when you don't have those core foundational principles at the bottom, it is a lot harder to scale because as you scale, like as you expand out, everything starts going everywhere, right? And if you don't have what I'm learning, even still as in my 9th year in real estate, simple things like, what fonts do you like to use for your branding?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. What colors do you want? I don't know. What do you want your mission statement to be? I don't know. But if you don't know and you don't have those pieces in place, it is a lot harder to get bigger and scale because those pieces, those foundational pieces are what you stay anchored to.
Right.
No matter who comes into your organization, no matter where your organization ends up going to long term, if you don't have those foundational pieces in place, there's no way to continue to grow.
Exactly. And we were talking earlier, just even setting up your business right in the first place or having that plan a little bit, So when we did open up, I was telling, Austin about I wanted the best of everything. I wanted everything to be where it needed to be from the beginning because I didn't want to keep starting over and over and over.
Right.
So even down to the point of setting up my accountant, I made sure that because I talked to Nick, the law guy, because he actually set up our LLC.
Nick, the LLC guy.
Yes, the LLC guy.
Yeah.
He set up our LLC, and I asked him, okay, we need an accountant. Who's the best? What's this? And he set us up with Hickman and Lacron now. It used to be Hickman and Hickman. Now it's Hickman and Lacron because I wanted the best because I knew I wanted to grow into that $1 million business. I had these visions from the very beginning, and I needed to be taught. I had to take lessons from them on how to even do QuickBooks because I've already gone into a business when I worked at Ulta. Everything was right there set up, and I just got taught into how to use their systems, right? But setting up a system from the beginning, I knew everything had to be done 100% correct from the beginning, or you were just going to always run into problems later on.
Correct.
So you didn't go cheap is the point.
Not at all.
And you planned for where you were going
Yes.
and not where you were at the time.
Yep.
That's the secret. So like a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'll just get this cheap bookkeeper or something like that. And then they don't do things right. Then it takes your time and you got to just
and you
like
pay
figure
for
out,
it later on because you're paying over and over and over
for the mistakes.
Then if you would have just thought of it, it's okay. Sometimes it sounds bad. Sometimes you have to spend the money to make the money. And it's sometimes you have to know when to add on that extra person, hire them. Sometimes so I hear a lot of people always talking about like, well, I have to line everything out, think about it. Sometimes you just have to do.
Right. Take action. And I see too many people, and this is going to sound bad to me, but with their dream boards and stuff. Well, okay, stop dreaming, do. I'm okay with the dreaming. I'm not saying not to dream. I'm not to say to not make your dream boards and do things, but when are you actually taking action? Are you doing the same dream board every year? Right.
Yeah.
Are you making the same things every year? And when have you decided to jump? I'm a jumper. I say I want something, I make it happen.
Right.
And you can even ask, I'll even throw him out, Stephen Lowen, one of my first employees. He says, I never met someone that said they were going to do something and then actually did every single thing you said you were going to do.
Right.
So I think we both resonate with that a lot. And something I've learned about myself personally recently was that like whenever there's inaction or there's like decisions that I need to be made, that's the most anxiety that I actually like experience in my life is when I know I need to do something and I don't do it.
Yeah.
So when I just start like exactly like you're saying, when I just keep doing things, it's like I never get stressed, I never get worried because I keep moving. But it's like when I'm like, oh, I need to do that, then I wait a week and I don't do it. Then it's like that's when the anxiety for me starts creeping in. So if you just keep going.
Well, and that's for Bob. He's the one that sometimes he thinks he gets a little bit like hesitant. And he will tell you, if she didn't push me and do this, we wouldn't be where we're at now.
Right.
Because I'm the type of person where I was like, no, it's going to be fine. I'm a very positive thinker, unfortunately, and sometimes it gets me in trouble.
It's going to work.
It's going to work, and if it doesn't, then okay, we look at it. What do we do wrong and move on from it and figure it out. It's not the end of the world if everything and if it didn't fall 100%, because you have to learn from those little things. To like, well, we could have done that better.
Right.
Nope. Next, let's move on.
Yeah.
And don't sit in all the things in the past.
Decision paralysis.
Don't sit in that going, and sit in the, I don't know what you call that, when you just sit there and you just think about everything that could have gone in the past, right?
Yeah.
That was wrong.
Yeah.
Stop. Just move forward. Keep moving forward. Take those lessons, learn from them. And because that's the other thing I don't do. I see a lot of people questioning and saying, what would you tell your 16-year-old self? So nothing. Not one damn thing different. Because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I sit there and think about every single mistake I ever made or every single thing in life that took me somewhere else. I would not be where I'm at all.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's just little weird things that
I love
fire.
it.
Yeah.
I'm super inspired by you on a daily basis. I would love for you guys to set up a time to sit down with Karen Carefee, because she's only given you a tiny snippet of her life. She has had so many
strange life. Very strange.
She's come from so much. From talk about resilient. I mean, I would love for people to sit down and hear like the whole story, because it really is. And that's truly the thing that I think that I want to bring to this table is talking about, no, I don't think anybody that's at the mastermind comes from generational wealth. That's not the group that we're looking at here. When we talk to people that are here, they're business owners, they're small business owners. They're just getting out into the world of trying to be an entrepreneur or building wealth. And we all came from different spaces. None of us came from wealth. And so it's hard. It's hard to stay in the paint and just stay the course. Even myself, I've experienced that very recently with opening a new business, and it's hard. You're right. Like, you are very broke. And on the outside looking in, it does not look that way, but it is the truth. And so I will say, so we're about to have to close up, and we're almost out of time. What would you say for brand new business owners that are jumping out into the world of pursuing their passion, whatever what the course is? What are some of the top 3 things that you did in the very, very beginning with Wanderlust, with Climate, to help scale and get the exposure, get your name out there? The things. What are maybe the top 3 things that you did with those businesses to help you grow quickly?
Look at your resources that are all around you that can be for free. A big part, I always hear people like, oh, Facebook, social media, things like that. That was a big one for us, to be honest with you. I made us look, like I said, for Climate Express especially, I just made it look so huge on Facebook and social media to make us not just look like we were working out of our house. It's also looking at different things for depending on which kind of business you have to differentiate you from other people. Okay. What are you doing differently to get you to look different? Especially for me with Wanderlust, one of the things that I did a little differently is I did put an office not in my home. I'm not a home-based travel agent. I have an office. I have clients who come to my office. We'll sit there for 2 or 3 hours. They come in and make a payment. And just the other day, she was sitting there for an hour. We had the best time talking. It's that personal, it's relationship building for me. It's creating something that you want other people to talk about and to be inspired by. Okay. It's giving back to the community, huge one for me, especially with Climate Express, because that one really can give back the most. It's putting that time in, that effort to be a part of something that resonates with you, not just doing it to do it. It's why are you putting into the effort of, for me, the crisis center with the Women's Crisis Center. I have personal reasons why I love that community and that organization. And it's just giving back, because the more you give back to people and the more you treat people around you with kindness and understanding and listening, I think the better off everyone would be, no matter what it is in the world, because I don't feel like we see that enough anymore.
Right. Especially when we're operating out of scarcity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Stop taking the toilet paper. I'm just saying. It's not needed. It's
Pro
not needed.
tip from Karen Carafee: stop taking the toilet
buying
paper.
The toilet paper.
Yeah, that's bad. I can't believe people do that.
I'm just kidding.
No,
right.
it's facts.
It's gonna be fine.
My only thing was next month we've got tax guy coming.
Yeah. Matt Bonine.
Matt B, the tax guy.
Matt B, the tax guy, will be at our next mastermind. He's going to be talking to us about all things tax strategies. He's not a CPA. He is a specific tax strategist that helps you as a business owner move things very legally in certain ways to help you reduce your tax liability for sure. So that's extremely, like, the first time that he came and talked with us, I was blown away at the strategies that he has for doing that. And I think it's a super appropriate time, November, right before taxes have to start getting processed again for the next year. So
Nice. I just finally got mine done this time.
so thank you, Karen, so much for being on our podcast
Thank you for
today.
having me.
We greatly appreciate it. She has been a regular member at our monthly mastermind, so we look forward to having you and Bob out again. If you would like to be on our podcast, there's only one way to do it. Come out to see us on our monthly mastermind, second Tuesday of every month at the Weighted Plate, our new business. And I think that's it. We're ready to go for next time. Be sure to invite people to the Facebook group, interact with us on the Facebook group. We have questions that we post. Put your business out there on the Facebook group. That's the whole point. We want to build a community with you guys out there. So thank you guys for tuning in today, having lunch with us. Thank you, Collab Space Studios, for always providing us with some pretty badass technical stuff, all the things that we don't know how to do. And thank you, J-Rock, for always being amazing back there behind the cameras. And we'll see you guys next time at Breakthrough Boundaries Podcast.
Nailed it.
Signing off.